Hi, Craig.
Craig.
Hi, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the paddock. Today, we're going to be covering a woman we on the podcast absolutely love, and that is Susie Wolff. Now, with so much to talk about, we're excited to jump in. And on the episode, we have Rachel, Amy, Edo, and myself, Chelsea. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Edo to get us started with some of Susie's background.
Scottish-born Susan Stoddard, or how she's now better known as Susie Wolff, is a badass of the highest order. And honestly, that was evident from a very early age, since she came from a racing and motorcycle family to begin with. Her parents, John and Sally, owned a motorcycle dealership in Auburn, where Susie grew up. Additionally, her dad raced motorcycles, so it's no wonder that she caught the racing bug very early on. Fun fact, while researching where she grew up and her background and stuff, I found out that she wasn't the first racing driver from Auburn. The other one being Jamie Campbell Walter, the 2000 FIA GT champion and the 2013 World Endurance champion, where he won the title with Aston Martin, another team on the grid that we love. And honestly, looking at Auburn and the open spaces around the resort town and how ideal they are for karting in the summer and skiing in the winter, it is no surprise that she wasn't the first racer out of that town. Her parents, too, realized early on that Auburn's geography was well suited for those types of activities, and that is therefore how she and her brother spent most of their time. It is no wonder that at 13, watching her first Formula 3 race, she decided that that is what she wanted to do. Though those plans, while being pursued on the side, were not her main focus until later on, as she first would go on to study international business at the University of Edinburgh. Though abandoning her studies after just a year, as she was invited to race in Formula Renault at Silverstone. However, just because she abandoned her studies at the University of Edinburgh didn't mean they don't love her, but rather in 2013, the university awarded her an honorary fellowship because of, and I quote, in recognition of her role as an ambassador of women in sport. Which to me just shows how great she is once again. It takes something special for a university that you left to pursue your dream of racing to honor you in that exact area. I mentioned before how she is a badass, and I still stand by that statement and hope by the end of the episode you will agree. Then she's seemingly a woman that can have it all. Not without hard work, of course. While doing what she loved, racing for Mercedes-Benz DTM team, she met her future husband, Toto Wolff. The two dated for a year before he proposed on a boat in Venice. They got married in 2011 and welcomed their son Jack in 2017. You might think that getting married and having a child slowed her down, but nothing could be further from the truth. If anything, she kicked things up a notch after meeting Toto. Then, by all accounts, he is the type of supportive partner all girls can only dream of. So, without further ado, let's talk about her racing days and beyond.
So, Susie Wolff has a pretty impressive racing career. She started karting in 1996 at 8 years old, and while there's not much information on her early karting days, she did compete in several categories, succeeding in most of them. In 1997, she came in first in the 24-hour Middle East Kart Championship, and she was also the champion in the Scottish Junior Intercontinental A and Scottish Open Junior Intercontinental A categories. She moved up into the British Junior Intercontinental A Championship, where her first season she placed 10th overall. And then in 1999, she competed for a second season in British Formula A Championship, and she finished 13th overall. She also competed in Formula A World Championships, placing 34th. With her impressive seasons in 1996, 97, 98, and 99, she was named British Woman Kart Racing Driver of the Year for 4 years in a row. In 2000, she competed in British Formula A for a third season, placing 10th overall, and again in Formula A World Championships, where she placed 15th. Her performances in these categories earned her an award naming her as the top female kart driver in the world. She graduated to single-seater racing in 2001, competing in the Formula Renault Winter Series for Moto World Racing Team. She had her debut in Formula Renault UK in 2002, racing for DFR Racing, while still representing Moto World in the Winter Series. Her second season in Formula Renault UK, she got her maiden podium finish and finished 9th overall. For her efforts, she was one of the finalists for the BRDC McLaren Autosport Young Driver of the Year award, and she was selected as the BRDC Rising Star of the Year. In 2004, her third season in Formula Renault UK, she competed in tech racing, achieving 3 finishes and in the points for 19 out of 20 races. She ended up finishing 5th overall in the standings. She then moved up into British Formula 3 in 2005, competing in the championship class for Alan Docking Racing. Unfortunately, her season was cut short due to an ankle injury she got over the winter. In 2006, she started competing for motorsport in the DTM, with her best finish being 9th overall in the final round at Hockenheimring, completing her debut season. She remained with motorsport for her second season in DTM in 2007, with her best finish being 10th at Mugello in Italy. Her third DTM season in 2008, she moved from motorsport to Person Motorsport. Her best finish was 10th at the Nürburgring, which she achieved again in 2009 at Nürburgring and Oschersleben. Her third season with Person Motorsport in 2010 was also her best season in DTM. She achieved a 7th place finish at Lausitz, which she matched at the Hockenheimring. She finished off the season 13th in the Drivers' Championship with 4 points. She continued competing in DTM for the 2011 and 2012 seasons. However, in 2012, she announced that she would be leaving the series to focus on her testing duties as a development driver for Williams' F1 team. So in April of 2012, Susie Wolff was named as a development driver for Williams' F1 team. In 2014, she drove in 2 free practice sessions, one at the British GP at Silverstone and the other at the German GP. Her session at the British GP made her the first woman to participate in an F1 weekend in over 2 decades. Unfortunately, her time out on the track was cut short due to an engine problem, and she was only able to complete 1 timed lap. Her practice session at the German GP also started out with car problems, but thankfully this time their issues were solved and she was able to complete the session, finishing 15th out of 22 cars. Her time was 1.20.769, which was only 0.2 behind her teammate Felipe Massa's time of 1.20.542, which earned him 11th place. In 2015, she remained a test driver for Williams. This season, she participated in 2 free practice sessions and 2 test runs. The first practice session she drove in that season was at the Spanish GP. Her time was 1.29.708. The second practice session was at the British GP, where her time was 1.37.242, earning her 13th place out of 20 cars. In November of 2015, Susie announced that she would be retiring from racing, with her last race being the 2015 Race of Champions. And while she retired from racing, she continued to help women in motorsport, and I am going to pass it over to Amy to tell you about Susie's work post-racing.
Now, before I move into post-racing Susie, I decided I wanted to dig a little bit into her experience with Race of Champions, because I think it is one of the most interesting kind of styles of racing that's kind of not typical single-seater racing. So 2013, Susie got involved with Race of Champions when they decided that they wanted to feature a female driver for the first time in its history. She had signed up to race at the Bangkok Stadium, which was going to be on December 14th and 15th. The Race of Champions co-founder Michelle Mont was very excited to have the world's most successful female rally driver involved. However, in early December of 2013, the event was canceled due to political situations in Bangkok. But in 2014, Susie was back and was going to be paired with David Coulthard to race in Barbados as Team UK. The pair reached the finals of the Nations Cup, but lost to Team Nordic. Susie lost to Tom Christensen in the Audi R8 LMS Ultra, while David Coulthard won against Peter Solberg in the VW Polo RX, but lost in a tiebreaker to Christensen in the Ariel Atom Cup. In the Drivers' Cups, Susie was eliminated in the group stage, but again, Susie came back in 2015 when the race was held at the Olympic Stadium in London. And again, she was partnered with my personal favorite person, who's a Scotsman outside of Susie, David Coulthard, to represent, as you guessed it, Team Scotland. In the Nations Cup, the pair failed to progress to the semifinals and were eliminated by Team England. Team England 2, driving the Mercedes AMG GTS, Susie lost to Alex Bancombe, while David Coulthard was defeated by Jenson Button in the KTM Expo. Racing against her teammate David Coulthard, Susie was eliminated in round 1 of the Drivers' Cup to conclude her professional career in motorsports, retiring at the end of the 2015 season. Now, I think a lot of people know Susie outside of being a driver. And that's probably starting around 2018, give or take. 2018, Susie announced that she was going to be joining Venturi Racing in Formula E as their team principal, and also she became a stakeholder in the team. For the 2019 to 2020 season, Venturi entered into a powertrain partnership with Mercedes EQ. Season ended with the team finishing 10th in the team's championship. Now, under Susie's management, the Monegasque outfit experienced its most successful campaign to date in the 2020 to 2021 season, recording 146 points, with Eduardo Marta securing second in the Drivers' World Championship, falling only 7 seconds adrift of winner Nick de Vries, who we will feature a spotlight on later in our season. The team finished 7th in the team standings with 146 points, as previously mentioned, completing its most successful season in Formula E to date in terms of points scored. In November of 2021, she was promoted to the role of CEO, and Jerome Demboise was announced to be the new team principal for the 2021 to 2022 season. Venturi completed its most successful season to date, amassing 295 points to finish second in the World Drivers' Championship behind Mercedes EQ. Eduardo Marta finished third in the Drivers' World Championship with 196 points, while their other driver finished fifth with 129 points. In August of 2022, Susie announced that she would be leaving Venturi in light of the team's plans to rebrand as Maserati MSG Racing for the current season of 2022 to 2023. Now, as we've all mentioned, we all love Susie here at PGP. She is fantastic and she is a phenomenal role model for women. I love one thing in particular about Susie, and that is the fact that she's founded a nonprofit organization. She founded an organization called Dare to Be Different, along with the CEO of the Motorsports Association, Rob Jones, in 2016. The aim of the organization was to increase participation in women in all forms of motor racing and change the views of women in perceived male-dominant industries. Dare to Be Different held events throughout the UK and invited local schoolgirls between the ages of 8 to 14 partake in motor racing related activities. When the organization was founded, women made up about 5% of racing drivers in the UK. In 2016, Dare to Be Different held 5 events throughout the UK to promote their cause, and the activities that attendees were allowed to participate in included kart racing, talks about the importance of fitness, nutrition, and diet, talks on engineering, media etiquette, and there was even a tire pit stop challenge, which I think is super cool. The Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics Network Ambassadors Charity assisted in helping Dare to Be Different members constructing a hovercraft in the organization's first year, which again, super cool. But I'm also, I think, one of the nerdier ones of the group, so I highly recommend that you dig more into them. In 2019, Dare to Be Different teamed up with the FIA Women in Motorsport Commission to launch the grassroots organization FIA Girls on Track, Dare to Be Different, aiming to encourage and influence girls utilizing educational activities on motor racing related careers. Ambassadors of Dare to Be Different include Alice Powell, the first driver to score a point in the GP3 series, the deputy team principal of Williams, Claire Williams, Sky Sports News reporter Rachel Brooks, and former chief race strategist of Haas, Ruth Buscombe, who is now actually with Alfa Romeo. I just love that they, as an organization, really back women doing what they want to do when it comes to motorsports and highlighting women who are in high level roles. I just think it's really important and needs to be done. For a little fun fact about Susie, because at PGP we do love our fun facts, Susie has been honored as a member of the Order of the British Empire, or MBE. In 2017, she was actually on the 2017 New Year Honors list for her service to women in motorsport.
With her experience as a driver and team principal, it was no surprise when in March of 2023, Susie Wolff was named the director of the newly established F1 Academy. If you're not sure what the F1 Academy is, definitely check out our episode where we cover all things F1 Academy. As the managing director, Susie reports directly to Formula One president and CEO Stefano Domenicali. Most recently, the F1 Academy launched their new global initiative being led by Susie, Discover Your Drive. In the press release, she says, quote, "With F1 Academy Discover Your Drive, we want to create accessibility to the sport. We want to have wide-reaching initiatives which really enable those young girls who are fans of the sport or who have a passion for trying to pursue a career in sport to really find their first foot in the door of understanding. Do I want to be a driver or do I want to be an engineer? We want to inspire that generation, create the accessibility, and create the opportunity for them to progress and also to be a form of talent identification." I love this so much. I think it's incredible. And it's going to be a global initiative, which means that we're going to see so much more female talent that, you know, we might not get to see without this initiative.
Now, as we have constantly said throughout this entire episode, Susie is a badass and is a definite icon for female drivers and women who want to be involved in motorsport. And for me, I have to say, for people who want to find really strong women who are involved in motorsport and they want to support drivers in a few different series, one of my new favorite female drivers is Leah Block. She does a lot of rally racing. Her dad is Ken Block, for those who don't know. He passed away earlier this year. He was a fantastic rally driver. He does some of the coolest stuff. There's a video of him on YouTube where he is driving this, it's a electric rally car through the Las Vegas Strip, and he's doing donuts everywhere.
Oh my God.
In casinos, in hotels. It is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen somebody do. And I love that Susie is just kind of inspiring this next generation of women drivers. So I want to know who everybody else thinks are female drivers to watch, because I think there's a lot of big names that are about to start coming out, I feel like.
For sure, especially with all of the incredible girls that are currently driving in the F1 Academy, the first season for them. I'm super excited to see where they go and just what they do. Their season so far has been incredible, and I'm so excited to get to see them race in Austin this year. I think it's going to be incredible. I think it's so cool to see all these girls just following their passion despite the roadblocks that lie in the way. The determination is just awe-inspiring, and it's incredible. I think we're going to see a lot of talent come out the next few years, and I'm so excited about it.
I mean, I totally agree with Amy and Rachel on this, but at the same time, I wouldn't be me if I wouldn't take it all first in a historic direction. So Layla Lombardi, the first woman to score points in F1, which she did in 1975. And she wasn't the first woman to race in F1, mind you, but she was the first one to get half a point. But then I feel like if you look at the history and then like look at early men, and there was like a slump of no women really racing, then Susie came along and now we have F1 Academy. And I feel like because of that slump pre-Susie, if you will, that also empowered Susie. I feel like almost she saw that slump and was like, this is not working. We need women. And that's why I am so grateful for her. Because, yes, historically there have been women, not a lot, but as I said, there was a definite drought of women in motorsport, especially at the level of F1. We were often relegated to like rally car, DTM, endurance, etc., which are all great series, don't get me wrong, and they're definitely worth checking out, but they do not get the same attention as F1, and that I feel like is an issue because growing up, yes, I watched motorsports and everything, but could I ever see myself in a car? No, because I had no one to look up to or do anything. It was all men, and that's why I feel like initiatives like Susie's are so important. And that's why I say, thank you, Susie.
So, we all follow Susie over here at PGP, but if you do not follow Susie on Instagram, she posts some of the best content. Hey, you get the behind the scenes Toto content, which is just adorable, and you get dad mode Toto, and it's so cute. But she just honestly posts some of the like my favorite things on social media. It's never, you're always gonna get a smile out of it. She's always just, it's just all good vibes over from Susie, and I just absolutely love it. So if you don't follow her on social media, I highly recommend that you do, because I think she just posts fantastic content.
So to round everything out, we're going to go with a quote from Susie recently. She says, "There's a lot of work to be done, but there's also clear determination to get this right. In doing so, I believe the F1 Academy can represent something beyond racing. It can inspire women around the world to follow their dreams and realize that with talent, passion, and determination, there is no limit to what they can achieve." And she's absolutely right. There is no limit to what women can achieve, whether it be in motorsport or not. And I just love that quote so much.
And I love any second that I get to learn about Susie, so I hope you all enjoyed this episode as much as these girls did making it. Do you have any favorite moment of Susie's? I mean, mine particularly was seeing her in the Miami GP paddocks with Toto on the scooter. But let us know on our socials at the Paddock Girls Podcast. Everywhere but Twitter, we are Paddock Girls Pod. We obviously cannot wait to read about it. Thank you so much for joining us in the paddock. We'll see you in Hungary. Bye, Craig.
Bye, Craig.
Bye, Craig.
See you, Craig.